Mike, imagine this. You've just finished a lovely dinner in a new city. The waiter brings the little tray with the bill. You reach for your card, and then you freeze. How much do I add? Do I add anything at all? Is everyone watching me?
Oh, that exact moment. My hand hovers over the card machine and my brain just goes completely blank.
Right? So today we're untangling tipping, the rules that confuse almost everyone. We'll compare the US, the UK, and Australia, so next time you won't freeze.
Perfect, because honestly, I need this. Let's go.
So let's start with the US, because that's the place people worry about most. Mike, here's the big idea. In the United States, tipping isn't a bonus. It's basically part of how workers get paid.
Wait, part of how they get paid. That sounds a bit strange to me.
It surprises a lot of visitors. In many US states, restaurant servers earn a low base wage, and the rest of their income comes from tips. So when you leave a tip, you're not just being nice, you're covering a real part of their salary.
Okay, so in the US, a tip is genuinely expected. It's not optional.
Exactly, it's expected, and not a small one either. These days, 15% is the polite minimum in a sit-down restaurant, and 18 to 20% is normal. Some people go higher for really good service.
20%. So if my dinner costs $100, I'm adding 20 on top.
That's the idea, and I know that feels like a lot when you first hear it. But in the US, it's completely customary. Nobody blinks. In fact, if you leave 10%, the server might think they did something wrong.
Customary, meaning it's just the normal, usual thing that everybody does.
Precisely, when something is customary, it's the expected social habit. And in America, tipping is deeply customary, not just in restaurants, but in loads of places.
Such as, give me the list because I don't want to get caught out.
All right, taxi or rideshare drivers usually 10 to 15%. Hairdressers and barbers around 15 to 20. The person who carries your bags at a hotel, $1 or 2 per bag. Even the coffee shop often has a tip screen now.
The tip screen, I've had that. The little machine spins around to face you and suddenly there are three buttons, 18, 20, 25%, and a line of people behind you.
Yes, people even have a name for that awkward pressure now, but here's a calmer way to think about it. For a quick coffee you grabbed at the counter, a tip isn't really expected. You can politely tap "no tip" and that's fine.
Oh, that's a relief. So table service, tip properly. Counter service, you can relax a little.
That's a good rule of thumb. Now, let's talk about how you actually leave the tip because there are two ways: cash or card.
And does it matter which one, cash or card?
It can, actually. When you pay by card, you write the tip on the receipt or tap it on the screen, and it goes through the company first. Some servers prefer cash because it's immediate and it all reaches them directly.
So it might be kinder to carry a bit of cash, just for tips.
It's a nice habit. I always keep a few small notes in my wallet. Now, one thing that catches tourists out, for large groups, restaurants often add the tip automatically. On the bill it might say gratuity included or 18% gratuity added.
Gratuity, that's just a fancier word for a tip, right?
Exactly. Gratuity is the formal word you'll see printed on menus and bills. So if you spot gratuity included, the tip is already there. Don't accidentally pay twice by adding another 20% on top.
Ah, good warning. So I should actually read the bottom of the bill before I panic and start doing maths.
Always read it. And this is where a group meal gets tricky because you often want to split the bill with friends.
Split the bill meaning we divide the total and each pay our share.
Right. When you split the bill in the US, remember to split the tip too, or the gratuity if it's already added. In many restaurants, the staff are very used to this. You can hand over 3 or 4 cards and they'll split the bill evenly for you.
That's handy. Back home, splitting the bill can turn into a 20-minute argument about who had the extra drink.
Ha, I know that feeling. So, quick picture of America. Tips are expected, they're customary everywhere, they're often generous, and you should decide early whether you're paying with cash or card.
Wait, you said generous. What counts as a generous tip in the US?
Good question. 20% is standard, so a generous tip would be 25 or even 30 for something special, a big celebration, a waiter who was really kind. Being generous just means giving a bit more than the normal amount.
Got it, so generous is above and beyond, not just the minimum. Okay, Sarah, let's pause and go over the words so far, because my head's spinning a little with percentages.
Great idea. First word, expected. If something is expected, people think it should happen. In the US, a tip is expected in a restaurant, leaving nothing would seem rude.
So I might say a 15% tip is expected here. It's what people count on.
Perfect. Next, customary. This means usual or normal because most people do it. It's customary to tip your hairdresser in the US.
And expected and customary feel close in meaning, right?
They do overlap. Customary focuses on the habit, this is what people usually do. Expected focuses on the pressure, you really should do it. Often both are true at once.
Nice. Next word, gratuity.
Gratuity is simply the formal word for a tip. You'll see it on bills and menus. A gratuity of 18% will be added for groups of 6 or more.
So in normal speech I say tip, but on paper I read gratuity. Same thing.
Exactly the same thing. Now cash, money and coins and notes, not card or phone. I keep some cash for tips.
And cash can be kinder for the worker because it reaches them directly.
Right, next, generous. A generous person gives more than they have to. She's a generous tipper means she gives a bit extra.
And last one, split the bill.
To split the bill is to divide the total between people so everyone pays their part. Shall we split the bill? Is a very useful question at the end of a meal.
Love it. Expected, customary, gratuity, cash, generous, split the bill. 6 down. What about the UK and Australia? Same rules.
Ah, now this is where it gets interesting. Because the UK and Australia are completely different worlds from the US.
Different how? Less tipping.
Much less and much more relaxed. Let's do the UK first. In Britain, workers earn a proper minimum wage, so tips are a thank you for good service, not a way to pay someone's rent.
So a tip is welcome, but it's not expected in the same heavy way.
Exactly. In a nice sit-down restaurant, 10 to 12.5% is customary if you're happy, but nobody chases you down the street if you don't. It's polite, not a rule of life.
That's such a relief compared to the US. But wait, I've seen service charge on menus in London. What's that?
Great that you noticed. A service charge is an amount the restaurant adds to your bill for the service, usually 12.5%. It's printed automatically at the bottom.
So a service charge is basically a tip they've already added for me.
In a way, yes. If there's a service charge on the bill, you generally don't need to leave anything extra. The tip is done. And here's a key point in the UK, a service charge is usually optional.
Optional, so I can ask them to take it off.
You can. If the service was genuinely poor, it's perfectly acceptable to politely ask them to remove the service charge. Staff won't be shocked. It's your right as a customer.
Interesting. So the service charge and a gratuity are kind of the same job, but the service charge is the one already printed on the bill.
That's a clean way to put it. The gratuity is the tip you choose to add. The service charge is the amount the restaurant adds for you. Both are about paying for service.
Okay, and in a pub, if I just buy a pint at the bar.
No tip needed at all. Tipping isn't customary at the bar, though there's a lovely old habit, you can say, and one for yourself, which means you're buying the bartender a drink. That's the British version of a tip.
And one for yourself. I like that, so warm. What about taxis in the UK?
For taxis, people usually just do a bit of rounding up. If the ride comes to £8.40, you say, keep it at 9, or make it a tenner. That's rounding up.
Rounding up, so instead of counting out exact change, I lift it to the nearest easy number.
Exactly. Rounding up is the easiest tip in the world. You're not calculating a percentage, you're just giving the driver the round number and skipping the small change. Everyone does it.
That's so much simpler than 20% maths in my head.
It really is. And rounding up works for lots of small services in the UK, a quick taxi, a coffee, a haircut at a small local place. Just round the number up a little and you're being polite.
Now what about hairdressers and salons in Britain? In the US, you said that's customary.
In the UK, it's common but softer. Many people give the stylist a few pounds or round up. If you're really happy, 10% is a generous, kind gesture. But again, nobody's counting.
Okay, so the UK is be kind if you can, but relax. Now Australia. I've heard Aussies barely tip at all.
You've heard right. Australia has a high minimum wage, so tipping culture is very light. In a normal cafe or restaurant, a tip is genuinely not expected. You can pay the exact bill and walk out with a clear conscience.
So no awkward tip screen guilt.
Much less of it historically. That said, things are slowly changing in the big cities. In a nicer restaurant, if the service was great, people might leave around 10% or do a bit of rounding up. But it's a bonus, not a duty.
So in Australia, a tip is a genuine wow, thank you, because it's truly not expected.
Beautifully said. Because it isn't expected, it means more when you do it. And here's a fun difference. In Australia, card payment is everywhere, so people carry very little cash.
So if I want to leave a small tip but I've got no cash, what do I do?
Many card machines now have a tip option on the screen, even in Australia. Or you leave a couple of coins if you happen to have cash. But honestly, in Australia, no tip is completely normal and no one thinks you're rude.
This is fascinating. So the same action, leaving no tip, is rude in the US, fine in the UK, and totally normal in Australia.
That's the whole puzzle in one sentence, and it's why travelers get so confused. The word tip means something different in each place. In the US, it's expected income. In the UK, it's a polite thank you. In Australia, it's a small surprise.
One more thing, splitting the bill. Is that the same everywhere?
Pretty much, in all three countries, you can split the bill with friends, and card machines make it easy now. Just remember, in the US, when you split the bill, add the tip to each share. In the UK, check whether a service charge is already on it first.
And in Australia, splitting the bill with no tip is just Tuesday.
Exactly, split the bill, pay your share, done. One last tip about being generous wherever you are. If someone gives you truly special service, a generous gesture is always welcome, even in low-tipping countries.
So generous is never wrong. It's just not always required.
That's the perfect summary. Being generous is a kindness. Being expected is a rule. Learn which one you're dealing with, and you'll never freeze at the card machine again.
Okay, second round of words. We picked up two new ones in that part, right?
We did. First, service charge. That's the amount a restaurant adds to your bill for the service, usually printed at the bottom, often 12.5% in the UK.
And if there's a service charge already on the bill, I don't need to add a separate tip.
Correct. And in the UK, it's usually optional. You can ask them to remove the service charge if the service was poor.
Second new word, rounding up.
Rounding up means lifting an amount to the nearest easy number. If a taxi ride is $8.40, you pay $9. Just keep the change is rounding up in action.
So rounding up is the lazy person's tip. No percentages, no maths. I'm a fan.
It's the friendliest one, honestly. Now let's reuse our earlier words too. In the US, a gratuity is expected and it's customary everywhere.
In the UK, tipping is customary but relaxed, and you might see a service charge on the bill instead of leaving a gratuity yourself.
And in Australia, tips aren't expected, people carry little cash, and a generous gesture is a lovely surprise rather than a duty.
And in all three, you can split the bill, just remember what's already on it.
Nicely tied together, Mike. Every word used in a real situation.
All right, let's pull it all together for everyone listening. Sarah, give me the three-country picture one more time.
Happily, United States, tipping is expected and deeply customary. 15 to 20% in restaurants, and tips for taxis, salons, and hotel staff too. For big groups, watch for a gratuity already added.
United Kingdom, much more relaxed. 10 to 12.5% if you're happy, and often a service charge already printed on the bill, which is usually optional.
And for small services in the UK, people love rounding up £9 instead of 8.40. Easy and kind.
Australia, tips are not expected. Most people pay by card and carry little cash, and any tip is a genuine bonus.
Exactly. And wherever you are, being generous for special service is always welcome. It's a kindness, not a rule.
Let's fire off the 7 words one last time. Gratuity, the formal word for a tip.
Service charge, the amount the restaurant adds for service, often already on your bill.
Customary, the usual, normal thing people do.
Expected, what people think you should do in that situation.
Rounding up, lifting the amount to the nearest easy number.
Generous, giving more than you have to.
Cash, coins, and notes, handy for tips. And a bonus one, split the bill, divide the total between friends.
So here's your simple travel plan. Read the bottom of the bill, ask yourself whether a tip is expected or just customary, and carry a little cash for rounding up. Do that, and you'll never freeze at the card machine again.
Love it, thanks Sarah. I actually feel ready to travel now.
That's the goal. Practice these words this week, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye for now.
Bye everyone.